In this video lecture, we will go through how to calculate the number of particles in a unit cell, right? And if we recall, we know that unit cell is the smallest part of a crystal lattice, right? And unit cell tells us how exactly the particles in the crystal lattice are arranged, right? So, since particles are arranged in a crystal lattice, and unit cell tells us how exactly particles are arranged in a crystal lattice, right? So now we will see how to calculate the number of particles in a crystal lattice, right? So the topic is calculation of the number of particles per unit cell of a cubical crystal system, right? Now before we go ahead, now we know what is a unit cell, right? Let's little talk about this cube, right? Let's look into the little geometry of a cube. This is a cube, right? Now a cube has 8 corners or vertices, right? It has 6 faces and 12 edges, right? If you know about the geometry of a cube, it will help us to find the number of particles in a cube in a unit cell, because we know that in a cubical crystal system a unit cell is a cube, right? We know that cube is a 3-dimensional structure, right? And the crystal system is again a 3-dimensional structure, right? So crystal lattice of a crystal structure is a 3-dimensional system, right? It's arranged, the crystal lattice is in 3 dimensions, right? So the smallest part of the crystal lattice, which is your unit cell, would also be 3-dimensional, right? It would be a cube, as we are studying about cubical crystal systems, right? So it has 8 corners, 6 faces and 12 edges, right? And we have already studied that a unit cell, type of unit cells, right? We have FCC, face centered, body centered, right? And primitive unit cell, right? Primitive is the basic form of unit cell that has particles arranged at the corners, right? Simple or primitive. Types of unit cell: simple or primitive, right? Then is your body centered, BCC. Then is your face centered, right? FCC. You have one more, you have edge centered unit cell, right? So these are the types of unit cells that we have already studied, right? So we would be finding the number of particles that are in each types of unit cells, right? Now just recall a little understanding of unit cell. We know that unit cell is the smallest part of the crystal lattice, right? That tells us how particles are arranged in a crystal lattice, right? Or in a crystal, once we know what type of crystal lattice or what type of unit cell we have, right? So simple primitive unit cell, simple primitive unit cell is particles are present at corners, right? Which are these corners of the cube. So since particles are present at the corners, so we say that particles in a simple unit cell or a primitive unit cell is present at the corners of a unit cell. These are the corners, right? So how many corners does a unit cell have? A cube has, it has 8 corners, right? So in simple or primitive unit cell, we have particles at the 8 corners of a cube, right? So particles are present at the corners, right? So 8 corners we have, right? Now in case of BCC, in addition to 8 corners, right? In addition to particles at the 8 corners, one particle would be present at the center of the unit cell, right, or at the center of the cube if we look at the structure. So one particle at the center, right, plus particles at 8 corners. Similarly, in FCC we have particles present at the 6 faces of the cube, right? All faces, we have 6 faces, so each face has a particle, right, in the FCC unit cell. Right. So each face has a particle, right, and we have 6 faces plus 8 corners. Similarly, if we talk about edge-centered unit cell, edge is this part, right, these parts. These are edges of a cube or edges of a unit cell, right, and we have total 12 edges, right. So we have particle at opposite faces. We know that we have already studied about edge-centered unit cell where particles are present at the opposite faces of the cube, that is opposite edges of a unit cell or a cube. Particles at opposite faces, right, plus 8 corners, right. So in all the unit cells, particles would be present at all the corners or the vertices, right, of a unit cell. In addition, depending on the type of unit cell, particle may be present at the center or at each face of the cube or the unit cell, or at the edges of the unit cell, right. Now what our aim is, we know that a unit cell is the smallest part of the crystal lattice, right. So this particular unit cell, right, would be touching number of other unit cells. We know that if we talk about entire crystal lattice consists of infinite number of unit cells, right. So if we want to calculate the number of particles in one unit cell, right, so what we would be doing is we need to find out that how many unit cells are in touch with one particular unit cells, right. Once we know how many other unit cells are touching this particular unit cell, then we will see how many other unit cells are sharing one particle or one atom of this particular unit cell, right. Once you know how many unit cells are sharing the particles of one unit cell, you would be able to calculate that how much that particle belongs to this one unit cell, right. Once you understand this, you will find it would be clear to you the concept of how to find the number of particles in a one particular unit cell. I'll repeat. Since a unit cell would be touching number of other unit cells, right, in all the 3 dimensions, right. So we need to find out how many unit cells are touching one particular atom or the corner, right, because at each corner we have a atom, right. Once you know how many unit cells are touching one corner, right, then you would be able to find out how many unit cells, right, would be sharing this particular corner or the atom which is present at this particular corner, right. Once you know that, then you will find out how much that atom which is present at the corner would belong to this particular unit cell. Let's calculate that and let's find out that. We would be able to understand that once we just do a small calculation. But before that, we need to understand one thing about these corners, right, or about these unit cells, and how many unit cells are actually touching these corners, faces, right, centers, right, or the edges. If we talk about the corner of a unit cell, right, if you look at this corner, this is open structure of a unit cell, this is space filling structure of the unit cell, and space filling structure gives us more clear picture as to how particles are arranged in a unit cell, right. So if you look, this is one of the corner, this is one of the corner of a unit cell, and remember that this unit cell is in 3 dimensions, right. So in all the in 3 dimensions, right, you have unit cells touching this particular unit cells in all 3 dimensions, x, y, z axis. In all 3 dimensions, other unit cells would be touching this particular unit cells, right. Let's find out how many they could be. If you look at this corner, right, it's like this unit cell, right, it has this corner, right. So one unit cell must be touching it from this direction, right, this is from this direction, right, and the other unit cell must be touching it from this direction, right. Since this is a 3-dimensional structure, so 2 more faces, which is not clear since this is a board, right. So you would be able to see only 2 dimensions, right, only the front faces. If this is actual 3 dimension, you would be able to see that there are 2 faces at the back of this, at the back of these 2 faces, right. So two faces are these, right, and 2 faces at the back of these 2 faces, so 4 faces, right. And if you just consider, since there are infinite number of unit cells, so there are number of unit cells touching this corner, right. So similarly, you have, if you consider a similar cube in the below layer, so there would be one corner, right, here also, right. Similarly, if you extend it like this, because we have a similar unit cell in the below layer, if you consider the below layer, there would be one unit cell at this corner, right, there would be one unit cell at this corner. Similarly, 2 more unit cell at the back of the below layer, so total 8 unit cells at this particular corner, right. At this particular corner, 8 unit cells would be touching one corner of a cube, right. So we have 8 unit cells, 8 unit cells touching a unit cell at one corner, right. Similarly, at this corner, if you consider this corner same as this, you have 8 unit cells, right, touching this corner, 8 unit cells touching this corner, 8 unit cells touching this corner. So every corner of a unit cell is touched by 8 other unit cells, right. So what we say is, since 8 unit cells are touching one corner, so the atom or the particle which is present at this point, right, would be shared by 8 unit cells, right. So what I write is, particle at one corner would be shared by 8 unit cells, right. This is very important to understand this point, right. Particle at one corner would be shared by 8 other unit cells, right. Now if we talk about the second one, BCC, it has a particle at the center of the unit cell, right, like this represents the BCC, particles at the corners, 8 corners, and particle at the center, right. This particle at the center, right, is not shared by any other unit cell, right, because a cube at the center is not touching any other unit cell, right? So the particle which is at the center of the cube is not shared by any other unit cell. So particle at the center is not shared by any other unit cell, right? Now let's look at faces of the cube, right? Faces of the cube, we have 6 faces in a cube, right? So since unit cell is a cube, so in a unit cell we have 6 faces. Let's see how many unit cells, right, would be touching one particular face. Right, this is the face. Right, this is the face of the unit cell. A particle which is present at the face, right? If this is the face, particle which is present at this face, right, would be at a unit cell at this face. This face of this unit cell would be touched by a neighboring face, right? This face of the unit cell, right, would be touched by the neighboring unit cell, right? So this face, right, and these are 2 cubes, right, and these cubes are touching one another at this face, right? These two faces of the unit cell are touching one another, right? So 2 faces of the unit cell are touching one another. So the particle which is present at this unit cell, at this face of the unit cell, would be shared by both these unit cells. Similarly, if this is the face, right, if a particle is present at this face, same as this, there would be a unit cell above this, right? Same as this, a unit cell would be present above this. So at this face also, this particle would be touched by 2 unit cells. Touched by 2 unit cells means particle at the face, at this face, would be shared by 2 unit cells. Similarly with this and with this, right? So all 6 faces of the unit cells, each face, right, among all the 6 faces would be touched by 2 unit cells. So each particle present at every face of the unit cell would be shared by 2 unit cells, right? So this particle would be shared by 2 unit cells, and same is for all the particles at the faces, right? So particles at the face would be shared by 2 other unit cells. 2 other unit cells, right? Now let's look at the last one, the edge centered, right? This is the edge of the unit cell. These are the edges, right? Suppose this is the edge. Each edge of the unit cell, right, would be touching 4 other unit cells in 3 dimensions, right? So the particle which is present at the edge, right, would be shared by 4 other unit cells, right? If this is the edge, right, this particular edge, if you look in 3 dimensions, would be touched by 4 other unit cells, right? So the particle which is present at the edge would be shared by 4 other unit cells. So particle at the edge would be shared by 4 other unit cells, right? So let's calculate the particle. First one, particle at one corner would be shared by 8 unit cells, right? So if this is the particle, and if this particle is shared by 8 unit cells, right? So if you look at this represents 1/8, right? Since this corner has 8 other unit cells. So this particle, so this much of particle, 1/8 of that particle would belong to each unit cell, right? Since 8 unit cells are touching this corner, I'll repeat, so 1/8 of that atom would belong to each of the unit cells, right? So here particles at one corner would be shared by 8 unit cells, right? So since it's shared by 8 unit cells, so particle that belong to one unit cell would be 1/8, 8, right? At corner, right? So how many corners we have? If we talk about, if since we are calculating number of particles in one unit cell, this much of atom belongs to, or particle, this much of particle or atom belongs to one unit cell, right? At corner. So how many corners we have? We have 8 corners. Therefore number of particles would be 8 corners, right? 8 corners, and at one corner, right, we have, at each of these corners we have 8 other unit cells that are touching it, right? So we said that 1/8 of that atom or the particle belongs to each of the unit cells, right? So here 1/8 of this atom belong to this unit cell, and we have similarly here also 1/8 of this particle belong to this unit cell. Same as here, 1/8 belong to this unit cell. Same here, here, and all the corners. So how much we have? Total 8 corners. So number of particles in this unit cell would be 8 into 1/8, 8, right? That would be 1. So 1 particle for simple primitive, because particles are only present at the corners, right? So here we have 8 corners. So for simple or primitive unit cell, we have 1 particle per unit cell. Similarly, if we talk about BCC, body centered, this is for simple unit cell. If we talk about BCC in body centered, right, in addition to 8 corners, we have 1 particle at the center, right? So BCC, 1 particle at the center plus 8 corners. Due to this 8 corners, we have 1 particle, right? This is due to 8 corners. Same mathematics would be applied here, right? So if this kind of question is asked, if they say that show using calculation, so you have to write this calculation here, right, and explain that 1/8 of this particle belongs to this unit cell. You have to give the explanation as well. So particle for BCC, 1 particle, right, 8 corners. So 1 particle, right, due to these 8 corners plus 1 particle at center, right, and this is not shared with any other unit cell. This particle at the center belongs to only this unit cell, BCC. So 2 particles for BCC, right? Similarly, if we talk about FCC, right, we said that at each face, right, we have 1 particle. So we have 6 faces, right, and each face, right, like I explained here, the particle at each face, right, is shared by 2 unit cells, right? So this particle belongs to half particle. There are 2 unit cells, so how much of this particle belongs to each of these unit cells is half, right? This is very simple calculation. 1 particle, 2 unit cells, so half belong to each of the unit cells, right? So this calculation is little easy. In FCC we have half unit, half atom, half particle, right, that belong to each phase, right? If you talk about this phase, half particle belongs to this phase. Similarly, if we talk about this phase, half particle belong to this phase, because at every phase we have other unit cell sharing this particle, right? So we have 6 phases, and at each phase half particle belong to that unit cell. So we have total 6 phases, right? Plus one particle at each corner, right? So due to that one particle at each corner, we have the same calculation, one particle, right? So one particle due to this, which is your 8 corners here. So the calculation would be 2 3s, it's 3, right? 3 particles due to these 6 phases, right, plus 1. These are 4 particles for FCC, right? So for FCC you have 4 particles, BCC you have 2 particles, and your simple primitive you have 1 particle, right? These are the simple explanations for this, right? And one important thing is, if the number of particles, the ratio of the number of particles in a unit cell will give you the formula of the compound, right? Now what this means is, let's take one example. If I have a solid, right, that consists of Y atoms at corners, and X atom at center, right? Y atoms at corners, and this a solid that crystallizes in body centered cubic structure, BCC, right? So what would be the formula of the compound? This kind of question may be asked in the exam, right? So since if this is the cube, right, you have Y atoms at the corners, right, all these. So you have 8 corners, and we know that in a cube at the corners only 1/8 of the atom belong to that unit cell. So 1/8 of this atom belong to this particular unit cell at each corner, and we have 8 corners, right? So we have 1 atom, right? How many Y atoms we have? 1 atom. And since X atom at the center, X 1 atom, right? So the ratio of atoms X is to Y, right, is equals to 1:1. The formula of the compound would be XY, right? So we say that the ratio of the atoms in a unit cell gives you the formula of the compound, or the stoichiometry of the compound, right? I hope this is clear to you. And there is one simple concept of coordination number, right? If you look at this, if you look at this corner, the particular atom which is present at the corner, I said, is touching 8 other unit cells, right? That is 8, the particles that are there in other 8 unit cells would be touching the particle at this corner, right? So the coordination number of the atom at this corner would be 8, right? Similarly, so we write here coordination number at corner would be 8. Similarly, if we talk about this at the center, this center is surrounded by 8 corners of a cube, right? So it has 8 closest neighbors, right, that might be touching it, the particle at the center. So we have coordination number for center is 8, because this is also touching 8 other particles, right? So I hope this is clear to you. The coordination number, the stoichiometry, and the number of particles that belong to each unit cell, right, depending on the type of unit cell, right? I hope this is clear. Thanks.